One of the reasons I had reached out to you in the past is because you were
Yeah.
tied to this virtual basement game, and I've gotten a lot of information on it. I'm very excited about it. A lot of people are very excited about it. How
Yeah.
were you approached to be a part of this game?
So the creator, we've been in touch for a very long time, actually, since last year. Shahim's a big gamer,
Hmm.
and he had been in touch with the creator of Virtual Basement, and we got into a group chat. We were just, he was basically pitching the idea to us. We were giving
Yeah.
him some ideas too, just feedback from experience of playing games and just being in the business itself. And people don't know this, people don't realize this, but Shaheem and I were actually the first people to sign on to this thing.
Oh wow.
I know it was never really promoted that way, but
Yeah.
yeah, we were the first ones to sign on. And like at the time, I didn't think it was going to be such a huge thing. And like, it's almost like every week there's a talent announcement for it, or like a new advancement in the game. And some of the stuff I've seen from it is like it's just crazy. And I think people who are kind of tired of the WWE games are so excited for it. So I mean, I'm just like cross my fingers. Like I hope it works out.
Yeah, and when WWE 2K20 or 2K21 it was announced wasn't going to happen, I think a
Right.
lot more eyes went over to Virtual Basement. And I mean, there's a lot of people like I know one, the former Enzo Amore is
Yeah.
all in on this game. Like he's trying to get them to bring in Vince Russo to write storylines, and
Yeah.
he was recruiting people to be a part of the game, basically saying like this your drawing power is tested here because I guess basically the amount of times you're downloaded depends on how much you make and all that. It seems like a fresh approach to a video game world that hasn't been that fresh over the last few years.
Right. And I think including independent talent, and like you said, it forces it forces you to test your drawing power.
Yeah.
Um, I think that the model is pretty cool. It's way different than anything I've ever seen before, and it should be very interesting because I'm like looking at the roster. How many guys are signed on to this thing?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's 200 wrestlers already, plus
Yeah,
plus a women's roster they're working on right now.
yeah. I put together the roster for it a few days ago,
Yeah,
like for our website. I was like, man, that person's in it. That person's
yeah.
in it. That person's in it.
I'm not really sure who's going to be on the core roster of it and who's going
Yeah,
to be DNC. Um, but
I know they've already
regardless,
announced like EC3, Ken Shamrock. A
yeah,
lot of people like that. Kylie Ray, which I mean, I don't know how the Impact thing is going to affect some of these people because I know Impact asked them to pull out. Did ROH have any reaction to this that you knew of?
not that I know of. I see. This is the thing. When I signed on to this, I was no longer with ROH,
Okay.
and I felt like this was a good opportunity for myself. I was like, well, I don't know what's going to happen with the Ring of Honor, but let me sign on before I
Yeah.
sign with ROH. So I knew immediately that I wanted to be part of it. And I think a lot of the guys in the locker room were pretty excited for it too. And I remember it was actually that weekend in Nashville where you hear a lot of people in the locker room talking about it, and there was a lot of excitement about it. And I'm going around with PJ Black, basically pitching this thing around to people because I'm pretty close with the creator. We're going around like talking to different guys in the locker room about it, trying to get them basically butter them up
Of
because
course. Yeah.
yeah. So I've been working pretty closely with Ashton, the guy who's
That's awesome.
the man behind the whole thing, just to try to send out feelers where I can. You know, I'm not Enzo. I don't have that kind of I don't have those connections yet. But like the people I do know, I've been trying to talk to them and get them involved.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the immediate future of wrestling gaming because there's a couple good prospects out there, and I'm really excited. And the world is really excited for Virtual Basement. I can tell you that whenever we do an article on it or anything, it always does really good traffic. It always gets a lot of attention. So to see that people care about it, even though it doesn't have that WWE label, even though it doesn't have an AEW label, that makes me very happy. That makes me
Yeah.
optimistic because let's be real, today people can create almost anything, and I think that's the method that's being tested. They're hand creating these wrestlers. They're not doing scans.
Yeah, it's crazy. When I first got the renders for me and Shaheem,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, how did you do this? First of all, this might sound a little ridiculous. He sent me a nude one. I was like, how did you figure that out? Like, that looks just like my butt. Like, how did you get like he did such a good job of like gathering pictures from everything I've posted on social media to
Yeah.
like put together. It's crazy the amount of work they're doing for each individual model.
That's the thing. I look at the stuff that fans make on WWE Community
Yeah,
Creations, and I look at that and I'm like, well, why do they need to do face scanning at this point if people can just create it like that and it
right.
looks smoother and it looks better than what. And I'm not taking a shot at the developers or anything. I'm just saying there are some really talented people. And I know Virtual Basement doesn't have thousands of people around the world to create this stuff, so it makes it even more impressive what they're doing. I'm very excited for that, and hopefully we can talk more about that in the future. But it's a pretty exciting time.
Yeah, especially because they want to put it on next gen consoles. Like that's
Yeah,
huge too. Because
yeah,
you hear this and you think, okay, it's just some independent game. It might be on PC or like mobile, might be some little mobile game.
yeah.
And they say that no, this is going to be next gen consoles. And like, all right, they're serious.
And I believe it. I mean, look at the WrestleFest sequel that's coming out, the Retromania arcade game. It's landing on PS4, Xbox, and Switch. So I
Yeah,
think it's there. The opportunity's there. The attention is there. Fire Pro Wrestling was a runaway success. But as much as I am excited for Retromania and I liked Fire Pro, those aren't true 3D alternatives right now. And some people want that 3D alternative, and this is that, in my opinion.